On January 1st, there was a big earthquake in Ishikawa, Japan. It was really strong, measuring 7.5 on the scale they used to measure earthquakes. A long time ago, a guy named Nostradamus said something spooky that sounded a lot like this earthquake. He was from France and knew a lot about stars and stuff. On that day, sadly, 55 people died because of the earthquake. People are shocked because what Nostradamus said actually happened, just like he said it would. People all over the world are seeing Nostradamus' predictions come true in really accurate ways. It's super surprising. And guess what? There are even more amazing things supposed to happen this year. If you watch this video all the way to the end, you'll find out about all the incredible stuff that's supposed to happen. But before we say it's all just random luck, let's take a good look at the proof. In his well-known book Les Prophecies, which he wrote in 1555, Nostradamus said that in the year 224, a really strong earthquake would happen along the coast of Japan. He also said there would be a tsunami, which is a big wave that can destroy houses and hurt a lot of people. What's cool about Nostradamus is that he made his predictions in different languages, not just one. Nostradamus wrote his predictions using a mix of Greek, Italian, Provençal, and Latin. Understanding what he meant requires being really good with languages. This makes his prophecies even more interesting because it lets people interpret and talk about how accurate they are. Dolores Cannon played a big part in helping us understand these predictions better. She spent her whole life studying things like past lives and how they connect to our current lives. Dolores Cannon uncovered a lot of cool stuff about how our minds work and stories that go beyond just here and now. In her awesome series called Conversations with Nostradamus, she shares talks that Nostradamus supposedly had and shows us what he saw for the future. It's really interesting because it helps us see how his ideas still matter today. In the 1980s, Dolores Cannon did a cool thing with one of her clients. She hypnotized a lady and took her back to a time when she was learning from Nostradamus. This lady was super into learning about how Nostradamus figured out what would happen in the future. She told Dolores all about her time in France in the 1500s, giving us a special look into how Nostradamus did his thing and what he thought about. When Dolores set up a meeting between her client and Nostradamus himself, her work got even more amazing. During the conversation, Nostradamus spoke through Dolores to her client, sharing his visions and thoughts in a really clear way. It was like opening a door to the past, giving us a lot of cool info about who Nostradamus was and what he wanted to do with his life. Even though Nostradamus' poems are hard to figure out, the important message about seeing into the future is still there. It's like he's asking us to try and understand what he was talking about. A lot of people who believe in his predictions say that they match up with things that actually happened in history. For instance, he got it right when he said there would be a big fire in London in 1600, which changed how the city looked. The fire started in a bakery owned by Thomas Fariner on Pudding Lane. It didn't seem like a big deal at first, but then it spread fast and ended up destroying a lot of buildings and hurting a lot of people. Nostradamus also seemed to know about big changes in how countries were run, like when Hitler became powerful in Europe. He talked about a young kid from a poor family who would become a leader with a powerful army and would be really good at convincing people to follow him with his speeches. Nostradamus' predictions get even weirder when he talks about Hist, which seems to refer to the Danube River, where Hitler was born. When we look back on his predictions, it's pretty scary how he seemed to know about the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. He described them as a heavenly arrow and death in speech, showing just how awful atomic war is and how it still affects us today. Nostradamus also had some dark things to say about the future. He warned about dry land, big floods, earthquakes, and volcanoes erupting. These disasters would cause droughts and famines, messing up nature and making people move around to find food and water. It's like he saw society getting all messed up because of these things. Phrases like no abbots, monks, no novices learning, and the prices going up for things like wheat and honey make it seem like the future might be a tough place to live. It sounds like there won't be as many religious folks and that things we need to live, like food, will be harder to get. Even countries that are doing okay now might start having money problems, making things even worse. People will have to deal with big questions about life and might have to change how they live and move to find what they need. It's important to get ready for this instead of just being sad when it happens. As countries start fighting over water, they might end up fighting each other too, and this could just be the beginning of some really big problems. Now things are getting really interesting. Nostradamus seemed to predict that Vladimir Putin's health would start to go downhill. This year, it looks like Putin's health might get worse, and he might have a really tough time. The prediction also talks about someone bad coming after him, born under a certain Chinese zodiac sign. A person close to Putin might use this situation to try and get him out of power, and this could cause big problems within Russia and around the world. The person who tries to do something like that to Putin will be someone who is really close to him. When this happens, things might get even more unstable because of the new leader taking over. But now, things are starting to shift in a big way. Nostradamus talked about a big change coming to the world's economy in 2024. He said that as this change starts, people will start to lose trust in their leaders, and the value of money will go down. People will be looking for answers, and things will start to look different. As for which country will change the world in 2024, it's hard to say for sure. But it seems like big changes are on the horizon, and new opportunities might be coming from unexpected places. Nostradamus predicts that India will have a big impact on the world, especially when it comes to politics and money. There are going to be some huge changes happening globally, and they're going to shape our future. In some circles, 2024 is called the Year of the Dragon. It's supposed to be a year filled with bravery, confidence, and good things happening. People might feel really lucky this year, and there might be some cool stuff going on, especially in technology. No one group will have total control over the digital world, which means there will be lots of new chances for everyone. But wait, there's more. One of the most interesting things Nostradamus talked about is the idea that there might be people living on other planets. How cool would that be? It's like he's saying we might not be alone in the universe after all. It's really fascinating to think about the idea of communicating with beings from other planets. Nostradamus seemed to suggest that these beings are watching over us and paying close attention to what's happening on Earth. He also talked about how by the end of 2024, things might calm down a bit and peace could be restored, at least for a little while. But then trouble might start up again. As for whether these beings would help us, it's hard to say. Nostradamus didn't really say one way or the other, but he did predict that there would be a special connection between all people around the world. It's like he thought we would be able to understand each other's thoughts without even talking. This could make it easier for us to work together and understand each other better. With less conflict and more caring, maybe we could make the world a better place. Nostradamus also mentioned that 2024 would be a significant year connected to Mary. This could mean that people will focus more on religious or spiritual matters during that time. Another important line he wrote was about how his words would scare enemies so much that even the ocean would be afraid. Many believe this could be a warning about a possible attack on Taiwan by China, as China is often associated with the color red. Furthermore, he talked about a king of an island not staying in power for long and a new king being chosen. Some think this could refer to Charles B. Tate, who faced criticism for his relationship with Camilla. People still have strong feelings about Princess Diana, which might influence their opinions about Charles. Some people also believe that Camilla might have played a role in Charles' relationship with Princess Diana. Not too long ago, Nostradamus predicted that the Queen of England would pass away. Currently, Pope Francis is leading the Catholic Church, but according to Nostradamus, there could be big changes in the Church. When a very old pope dies, a Roman who's still in good shape might take over. This new pope could face criticism for his decisions, especially if they seem to weaken the Church's influence. However, he'll hold on to power for a long time. Eventually, a younger pope might replace him, possibly leading to a decrease in the Church's strength. It's all pretty surprising and could shake things up in the Catholic world. It's true that some people think that the last pope was predicted by the Holy Malachias. Nostradamus was really skilled in astronomy and medicine, and a lot of folks believe in the things he said. But we won't really know what's going to happen until it happens. It's important to start getting ready for whatever might come our way. Nostradamus faced some trouble because of all the things he predicted, but that didn't stop him from speaking his mind. He believed in himself and did what he thought was right. He passed away in 1566, leaving behind a bunch of mysterious verses for us to try and understand. Figuring out what he meant can be tricky, but true prophets like him don't come around very often. Nostradamus was thought to have a special gift that let him see into the future, a power of prediction. While many people believe in him and his predictions, there's also a group who think it's all just made up. They believe he just wrote down random stuff that came to his mind. Whether or not you believe in these predictions is up to you. It's hard to say if everything he said will actually happen this year. We can try to compare what he wrote with things that happened in the past to see if they match up. But there are still some things he wrote that we just can't figure out. It's a mystery. The line, "The younger lion will conquer the larger one," is one of those mysterious statements from Nostradamus. Some people interpret this as a prediction about a powerful leader rising to prominence, possibly symbolized by the lion, and overcoming an established authority or power represented by the larger lion. As for Kaki, it's believed by some to be a future ruler who will bring about significant changes on Earth. According to Hindu mythology, Kaki is the final incarnation of the god Vishnu, who is supposed to appear at the end of the Kali Yuga, the current age marked by strife and discord. Kaki is said to establish justice and usher in a period of peace, but he's also depicted as being strict and unforgiving, especially towards wrongdoers. Before becoming the ruler of the world, Kaki is said to bring about a golden age within the Kali Yuga, which aligns with the Hindu belief that a cycle of time within the Kali Yuga will begin 5,000 years after Krishna's death. Yes, that's correct. In Hindu mythology, Kaki is prophesied to defeat Kali, the demon representing evil, to establish the true Satya Yuga, or Age of Truth, after the Golden Age within the Kali Yuga. This Satya Yuga is believed to last for about 10,000 years, marking a time of righteousness and harmony.